get low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles from Brian Giles MTG, and we're back with more Lost Caverns of Ixalan spoilers. First up, we have an absolutely banger spot removal card in Get Lost. A white and a 1 for an instant that reads destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Its controller creates 2 map tokens. And for those of you, just to remind you, map tokens, basically it's an artifact. You pay 1, you tap it and sacrifice it so that a creature you control explores. You only activate as a sorcery. So it's kind of like some of the stuff we got in... it's kind of like some other spot removal, but you get creature enchantment and planeswalkers. So it's a good spot removal for the price. I really like this. I think this is going to be the new spot removal for this current standard. Next up, we have Confounding Riddle. A blue and 2 for an instant that you can choose 1. Either look at the top 4 cards in your library, put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest in your graveyard. Or counter target spell unless its controller pays 4. Hey, it's a blue spell! So you got counter spell and card searching. Next up, we have a new turtle. Turtles seem to be getting a thing lately. We got one in Wilds of Eldraine. We got one here. This is Bedrock Tortoise. Green and 3 for a 0/6 turtle. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control have hexproof. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So that's a little useful thing. And you get you get hexproof on your turn. So hoo-ha. Next up we have the Belligerant. So a blue, a red, and 2 for a 5/5 legendary artifact vehicle. Whenever it attacks, create a treasure token. Until the end of the turn, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. You can crew it for 3. So the pirate ship is back. We have a new pirate ship. Okay, where'd we go? Hello. Okay, there's a great door. Journal. Wandering Throne. Okay, let's go over the Viper. Okay, I think we went over. Okay, there we are. Sometimes when it goes back, it doesn't end up in the right place. So next up we have Lurking Bat. So it's a 1 white mana for a 1/1 bat. It has flying and lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you've descended this turn, scry 1. That's a little useful. Next up, we have Dig Site Conservator. 2 mana for a 2/1 artifact creature gnome. Sacrifice Dig Site Conservator. Exile up to 4 target cards from a single graveyard. Activate only as a sorcery. When Dig Site Conservator dies, you may pay 4. If you do, discover 4. So that's interesting. Free spells, stuff like that. Then we have Nurturing Bristleback. A beefy 2 green and 5 for a 5/5 dinosaur. When it enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 dinosaur creature token, and it force cycles for 2. So yeah, it's good for the force cycling. You get the 3/3 dino, which is good in that green and 2 dino that we saw earlier in some of the earlier spoilers. So next up we have Tishana's Tidemaster. So a blue and 2 for a 3/2, what I would imagine is a Merfolk Wizard. It has flash. When it enters the battlefield, counter up to 1 activated or triggered ability. If an artifact, creature, or planeswalker's ability was countered this way, that permanent loses all abilities until Tishana's Tidemaster leaves the battlefield. Mana abilities can't be targeted. Okay. Counterspell deck, I can see that. It's blue. It's a very blue spell. Next up, we have another one of the manlands. This is Restless Ridgeline. Enters the battlefield, tap it to add red or green, or pay a red, green, and 2. Becomes a 3/4 red and green dinosaur creature till end of turn. It's still a land. Whenever Restless Ridgeline attacks, another target attacking creature gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Untap that creature. That sounds like fun, in your dino deck. This is definitely a very dinosaur type of feel to it. Then we have Hurl into History. A somewhat beefy 2 blue and 3 for instant reads, counter target artifact or creature spell. Discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. So it's a beefy cost counter spell, but you get to discover whatever this countered spell is, the mana value. So you're probably going to use that to counter. This is to counter like a big creature. It has like huge mana value. Next we have Fist of Suns. Oh look, it's the Infinity Gauntlet. 3 mana for an artifact that reads. You may pay Woober, which is white, blue, black, red, green, rather than pay the mana costs for spells you cast. It's the Infinity Gauntlet. This is Defossilize. So black and 4 for a sorcery that reads, turn target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature explores, then explores again. Okay. So you get a creature from graveyard to the battlefield. and you get to either find lands or put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you do it twice, but separately. Next up is Malat War Scribe. 2 white and 3 for a 4/3 cat warrior. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +2/+1 till end of turn. Well, that's fun. Next up is Inti Sun's Caretaker. A red and 1 for a 2/2. I don't know exactly what, probably a human warrior. Or maybe warrior, or maybe a god creature of some sort. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains trample till end of turn. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. That's interesting, especially as a counter to that discard deck. Next up is Compass Gnome. 2 mana for a 2/1 artifact creature gnome. Compass Gnome enters the battlefield. You may search your library for a basic land card or a cave card. Excuse my hiccuping. Reveal it, then shuffle with that card on the top. That's a fun little mana searcher. Next up we have Helping Hand. Single white mana for a sorcery that reads, turn target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That seems kind of fun. Then we have Brass's Tunnel Grinder. A red and 2 for a legendary artifact. Brass's Tunnel Grinder enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a boar counter on Brass's Tunnel Grinder. Then if there are 3 or more boar counters on it, remove those counters and transform it. It becomes Teuton, the Searing Rift. So Teuton, Searing Rift is a legendary land, and it's a cave. And it transforms. You can tap red mana whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by Teuton on the Searing Rift. Discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. Ew, dirty. This is in a burn deck can make things just bad all the way around. Next up, we have another one of the man lands in Restless Anchorage. So this I believe completes the cycle of man lands. Or at least, this particular set of cycles of man lands. It enters the battlefield tap it add white or blue. Pay a blue or white and 1 till end of turn. It becomes a 2/3 white and blue bird creature token with flying. It's still a land. Whenever attacks, create a map token. Oh, that sounds fun. Then you have Kite Sail Larcenist. A blue and 2 for a 2/3 human pirate with flying in Ward 1. When it enters the battlefield, for each player, choose up to one other target artifact or creature that player controls. For as long as Kite Sail Larcenist remains on the battlefield, the chosen creatures become treasure artifacts with sacrifice this artifact and add 1 mana of any color, and they lose all other abilities. So it works kind of a lot like what was it, Nissa that did that in March of the Machine? Yeah, it basically turns them into artifacts. You know, they become treasures. Next up, we have Oar Pacu, Deepest Epoch. It's 2 blue and 2 for a 4/3 legendary creature god. It has flying. If you cast an instant spell from your hand, it gains rebound, which means you the return of rebound. Exile as it resolves at the beginning of your next upkeep. You may cast it from exile without paying its mana cost. When it dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control with 3 time counters on it. It becomes the Temple of Cyclical Time, a land. Tap it, add a blue mana, remove a time counter from Temple of Cyclical Time. Pay a blue and 2 and transform it only if it has no time counters on it. So that's an interesting little thing. Flip it back and forth. Okay. Then we have Braided Net. A blue and 2 for an artifact that reads, Braided Net enters the battlefield with 3 net counters on it. Tap it to remove a net counter from Braided Net. Tap another non-land permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated for as long as it remains tapped. And you can craft it with artifact and a blue and a 1. It becomes Braided Quipu. Artifact that has pay a blue and 3, tap it, draw a card for each artifact you control, then put Braided Quipu on its owner's library third from the top. Okay, this kind of fits into that whole pirate artifact type deck that we've been kind of seeing play out. Next up is an interesting, kind of powerful card. It does have a bit of a drawback to it. It's Queensbake Paladin. 2 black and 3 for a 5/4 Vampire Knight. Whenever Queensbake Paladin enters the battlefield or attacks, turn up to 1 target vampire card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. You lose life equal to its mana value. So that's the drawback. You lose life. You get creatures back from the graveyard on ETB and every attack. But you got to deal with you lose life equal to its mana value. But if you got creatures that are lifelink, yeah, you can really recoup that loss. So we're almost at 20 minutes. I'm going to take one last check. Oh, hello, some more. So this is Reaper Claw Raptor. A red and 2 for a 4/3 dinosaur. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, it deals 4 damage to that player. Ooh, it's a beefy card in itself for 3 mana at a 4/3. And if it's out there and people aren't playing, are casting spells, if it's not their turn, it deals 4 damage. That's gonna hurt in the morning. Next up, we have Curator of Sun's Creation, a red and 3 for a 3/3 human artificer. When you discover again for the same value. This ability triggers only once each turn. Ooh, that. If you're playing a Discover deck, that's gonna mess people up. Okay, next up we have Subterrain Schooner. A blue and 1 for a 3/4 artifact vehicle. You can crew it for 1, and whenever it attacks, target creature that crewed this turn explores. That's dirty. It only crews for 1. It's a 3/4, and the creature that crews it gets to explore. That's just dirty. That's almost OP. Okay, one last check because we're over 21 minutes. Temple Bell. We just got this card in the last set, so we just got this card, I think, in Doctor Who. So it's an artifact for 3 generic. Tap it, each player draws a card. This is the kind of artifact you want to have when you're playing with Shieldred. And we're talking Dom United Shieldred. Okay, we're over time here. We got to end this. So we'll see you on the next video.